Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on Thomas of Woodstock, and King Richard II is going to finish off Act 4, Scene 1 for us. Finally, I feel like we've been in this scene forever, but it is kind of a big one. We covered the blank charter thing, and that's going well, and that the flatterers are skimming money off the top, and that they've worked out a deal with the king so that he's going to divide up the entire kingdom amongst the four of them so that they can collect the taxes, and then they'll give just a certain portion to the king. And we covered off the plot to kidnap Thomas and ship him off to France, and also the plot to have the other uncles arrested. So like after all that happened, Green had to say like, hey, your majesty, by the way, you're still splitting up the kingdom, right? And Richard was like, well, and he's like, well, I'll be a traitor otherwise. And he's like, okay, fine, let me sign the stuff and we'll go through and let's look at a map and we'll say this is your part and this is your part and this is your part. So all of that has happened. Everything has officially been split up. The flatterers are pleased with the portions that they got. I believe it's Green is like, hey, are there any cute ladies that live in my territory? Because, you know, that's the point of this whole thing. And what makes this whole, there's one phrase right before today's monologue that, in my opinion, very well sums up just how messed up this whole arrangement is. We have Green saying to the king something along the lines of, thank you for my territories. I'm going to be like a king there, and you can be like an emperor over everybody else. So that's basically what the flatterers have done. They have inserted themselves into the kingdom, into the hierarchy. So there's like king, and then these four, and then everybody else. They've added an extra layer of bureaucracy to the structure of England. But King Richard doesn't think twice about that. He says, thus have I parted my whole realm amongst ye. Be careful of your charge and government. And now to attach our stubborn uncles. Let warrants be sent down, Tressilian, for Gaunt and York, Surrey and Arundel, whilst we this night at Plashy suddenly surprise plain Woodstock. Being parted thus, we shall with greater ease arrest and take them. Your places are not sure while they have breath. Therefore pursue them hard. Those traitors gone, the staves are broke the people lean upon, and you may guide and rule them at your pleasures. Away to Plashy, let our mask be ready. Beware, plain Thomas, for King Richard comes, resolved with blood to wash all former wrongs. And then the scene ends. So this is basically just a wrap up of everything that was covered in the scene, because as I mentioned, it's a very long scene and they cover a lot of stuff. So this is just sort of the button at the end that says, okay, this is the plan moving forward. So he says, I've split up my land. Each of you gets to govern it sort of how you want. And now Tressilian, you go arrest these uncles, while the rest of us are going to go to Plashy to kidnap Woodstock, because it's easier if we divide and conquer in this whole thing. And he does throw in a warning that, like, as long as the uncles are still alive, this extra layer of bureaucracy that the flatterers have inserted themselves into is in danger. He's like, as long as they breathe, your positions in the government are not secure. So we got to take care of all of this. But once they're gone, you can do whatever you want to the people of England. You can rule, you can tax, you can guide, you can whatever, however you want across England in the territories that I've given to you. And then he's like, okay, let's go do the mask thing and everything. And he finishes off with a warning to Thomas, who isn't there, but he's like, Thomas, I'm coming for you, and we're going to fix all the things that you've done wrong to me in the past. So that is the end of Act 4, Scene 1. Things are not looking good for the uncles at this particular juncture, and possibly things are not looking good for England in general, with the whole country being split amongst these four flatterers who actually previously didn't really have roles and titles and experience in government and all that sort of thing. But I don't know, maybe that's just my own bias lens looking at it 400 years after the fact. But yeah, so Act 4, Scene 1, dun dun dun. Things are not going to be good for the uncles moving forward. But we will see exactly how that all lays out in the future scenes. So come on back tomorrow for more. I'll see you then. Mwah.